This place doesn't suit you, a middle school graduate, and it's embarrassing for you to be here. You are a poor woman living on a pension. I don't want anything to do with you. So why don't you leave? What my eldest son's wife said made me lose my patience finally. The arrogant attitude I've tolerated for so many years came to the forefront of my mind, and I was seething with anger. I said to her, if I just shut up and listen before I could finish. My second son's wife, who looked pale, said, "Oh, Mary, don't tell me you don't know." This is the story of my eldest son's wife, who had made fun of me, her mother-in-law, until she fell into a miserable situation. My name is Sally. Today, I'm going to be 62 years old. I am already old, but I managed to live a healthy life. Since graduating a junior high school, I have spent my time working and raising my children, and before I knew it, I have reached this age. Even for me, it was depressing when my beloved husband suddenly passed away 5 years ago. But with the support of those around me, I was able to overcome over the few years. I am now working just a little bit. I have taken over the work from my husband, and although there are some small problems, the work itself is going well, and I am satisfied with it. But there is something that bothers me more than that. "Hello, I have a delivery for you." I respond as the carrier comes to my door. It was a single sealed envelope and a gorgeous floral arrangement. It was a flower arrangement with a card that said, "Happy birthday." The name of the sender of it was my second son, Tyler. But I have never received anything like this when he was single. Ariana, who got married to Tyler last year, must have taken care of it. For better or worse, Tyler has a carefree and non-toxic personality, but he married last year to Ariana, who is firm and considerate. She lives about an hour's drive away from here, but they come by every once in a while to show their concern and invite me on trips with them. I called Ariana to thank her. She said, "Happy birthday! I heard that you like flowers. I hope you stay to be well. I look forward to seeing you again," she said happily. She is such a good wife that is too good for Tyler. The problem is the sender of the other sealed letter. The sender's name is Tom, my eldest son. When I opened it, I found a birthday card. Tom, who got married a little before Tyler, is not the type of person who would do something like this on his own either. So it must have been his wife, Mary. My eldest son's wife, Mary, was the source of my greatest concern. Mary boasts of being a highly educated elite working for a large company. She has a strong temperament and, to put it bluntly, a haughty personality. She judges people based on their educational backgrounds and the companies they work for. And if someone is lower than her, she immediately takes an attitude of making fun of them. I, who has been working since graduated from junior high school, is an object of contempt for her. I knew from the beginning that she looked down on me, but as the months went by, she became more and more arrogant. She would come over to my house without notice, and then she would jaw at me to prepare meals. She said, "I'm tired from work." She would also ask me for money behind Tom's back. Tom is also in a management position at a restaurant chain, so money is never a problem for her. Still, I love Tom, who is like my husband, is soft-spoken and somewhat fragile, and I put up with it because she married him. But if I'm honest, it hurts me, and I don't feel good about it. But she congratulated me on my birthday. I should at least thank her. So I call Mary. I called and she said, "Hello, I'm sorry. I'm tired from work, so please make it quick." Like that, I said, "You sent me a card for my birthday, didn't you? I called to thank you for the birthday card you sent me. Thank you." "Oh, you got it. I'm so glad. Oh, by the way, there's a dinner party with your relatives coming up, isn't there? Sally, please go dressed decently so I won't be embarrassed." "Yes. Thank you anyway." Yes. Well then, bye." She hung up. There was not even a word of congratulations, but that's Mary. I sighed to myself and wondered if there was anything I could do. A few weeks later, I had a chance to have a dinner party with my relatives. My niece, who I have loved since she was a little girl, was getting married. She is a cousin of Tom and Tyler. Since they were not going to have a wedding, they decided to hold a dinner party to introduce her husband to her relatives. They invited me, Tom, Mary, Tyler, and Ariana. I was walking with my second son and his wife, who has arrived earlier, through the courtyard where the dinner party was to be held. "The weather was fine today, wasn't it? You look great in your kimono, and it fits perfectly in this courtyard," I said. "Well, it's a proper place today, and I haven't been here in a long time. I wish I had come in a kimono too. It's a very nice and luxurious restaurant." "Oh, come on. I can't buy you an expensive kimono for a place like this." "I know. I'm just saying." While we were having such conversation, the eldest son and his wife came in late. "Hello? Wow, you dressed properly." "Hey, you don't have to say it like that." Tom tried to stop her, but Mary was clearly unhappy. "It's almost time to go in." I said so and went inside the restaurant. About 30 relatives have gathered, and many of them came to greet me. "She is a very well liked, isn't she? Is it out of pity after all?" Mary, who was standing a little distance away from me, whispered, but my ears caught her. But I pretended not to hear her and took my seat. My niece and her nuptial partner greeted, and after a toast, the dinner party began. I thought it would be a restaurant in a rural area, but the food is quite impressive. They have a good selection of sake as well. It's just as well they were featured in a Tokyo magazine. Mary was enjoying her meal one after another, and drinking a lot of sake while saying such things. The dinner itself went on peacefully in a celebratory mood for my niece's marriage. I was relieved to see that my niece's partner seemed to be a solid person. "By the way, I heard that you graduated from the University of K and are working for a famous bank." In the conversation, one of the relatives said those things to my niece's marriage partner. "Yes, indeed I do. I am grateful to my parents for letting me go to the college." My niece's marriage partner replied with trepidation. "So far, so good." "K University? Hey, I graduated from W University. I'm a chief executive at the big company." Mary started forward, even though no one asked. She was eager to boast about her educational background and the company she works for. "Hey, stop it!" Tom tried to stop her, but Mary ignored him. She said, "After all, in this day and age, academic background is very important, isn't it?" "No, I don't think so. There are many respectable people regardless of their academic background." My niece's marriage partner responded firmly, but Mary's talking does not end. "I think you, who went to K University, would understand that there is something that only educated people can understand. I guess you would understand. People with no education are low level. What? My niece's partner was a bit taken aback. Hey, you've had too much to drink. That's right, Mary. Tom and Ariana desperately tried to stop her. Tom looked at Mary as if she were an alien. It was same for the relatives who were there. If you don't have an education, you can't get a job at a good company, and you can't make money. You know what I mean? Don't you, Sally? She suddenly asked me, but I already guessed what she was going to say. I don't know, Mary. You drank too much. Why don't you go outside and get some air? I answered without hesitation, but that seemed to irritate her. What's the matter with you? Mary, you're being a bit harsh. Did you just tell me to leave? Even though I'm a college graduate and you are a junior high school graduate, I don't understand. Hey, what the hell are you? Tom tried to stop her, but I stopped him with my eyes. Now that it's come to this, the pus has to come out, I thought. Mary, if you have something to say, why don't you say it? I said, and she laughed through her nose and then spoke up. Well, let me tell you something. If I were you, I would be too embarrassed to show up in the relatives because you're a middle school graduate with no qualification. All the relatives, including my niece and my niece's married partner, were looking at us. She said, I haven't seen you working much since your husband passed away. I mean, you're unemployed, and at 62, it's not even close to retirement age at the place I work. And people are working hard as an elite manager. Mary was a sole provider. She even seemed to be enjoying herself. You didn't go to high school, not even to a good university, and you don't have any qualifications. That's why you're in this situation. Don't you think it's pathetic? Oh, I definitely don't want to become an aunt like you, although I don't because I work for a big company. Not only the relatives, but even the employees who brought the food froze and listened to her words. Then she unleashed the decisive words. She said, a middle school graduate like you doesn't belong in a place like this, and it's embarrassing. You are a poor person living on a pension. I don't want to get involved. So why don't you leave? Mary's words made me lose my patience finally. The arrogant attitude I have been trying so hard to tolerate until now came to the forefront of my mind, and I felt a surge of rage. The back of my nose twitched, and I held back the tears that was about to flow. I thought to myself, hey, I just shut up and listen, but before I could finish, Ariana, who looked very pale, said, Oh, Mary, don't tell me you don't know, she said. What? I don't know what? Mary looked at Ariana with doubtful eyes, then looked around at the relatives. Some looked bitter, some looked really angry, some looked condescending. Tom suppressed his eyes and slumped down. What? What the hell? Mary said, and Ariana answered in a trembling voice. Sally is the owner of this restaurant, remember? After a moment of silence. What? Don't make me laugh. What are you talking about? Mary snickered. Then the chief and the employees who were there rushed over to me. Boss, are you all right? She is a wonderful person. I can't tell you how much she had helped me. Do you know what you're talking about? He shouted angrily at Mary. She turned to Tom. Tom, what's this all about? Nothing. It's just what they said is true. What? What are you talking about? You've never told me before. Dad and Mom started this restaurant, and she took over from him, but she wasn't in a good position to run the business by herself. So now she lends her name to someone else to run the business. It is true that she is the owner. Why didn't you tell me? If I tell you, you would say stupid things, like getting the restaurant or the property. I wanted to leave my mother alone, who was depressed after my father's death. Besides, as soon as you heard about my mother's education background, you looked down on her and weren't interested. What? How can a junior high school graduate run such a fancy restaurant? The business is going down the drain, isn't it? Even the house is old. It's true that they are poor. Tyler was the one who spoke to Mary, who is still complaining. My mother is a person who prefers to keep things simple, and the house is full of memories of my father. She owns a condominium in front of the station and other properties that she and my father bought together. To be honest, I think she earns much more than you do. What? What the hell? You guys, enough. You're just a middle school graduate. Why don't you just stop? A quiet, calm voice rang out. Standing there was a man who is one of the relatives, but not much older than me. He was dressed in an elegant suit. What's the matter with you, old man? Don't talk to me. Who are you, huh? Mary looked at the man's face to retort, and then her face turned pale. Do you know who I am? No way. Executive director? This man was a cousin of my husband. He seemed to be the managing director of Mary's company. I had no idea that one of our relatives was a problem employee of our company. To be honest, you don't have a good reputation in the company. I heard that you are very critical of other employees and that you treat your subordinates differently based on their academic backgrounds. This seems to have a big impact on your work, as it causes projects big problems. Mary looked as if she was about to faint, but the executive director continued. I'm sure it must be even worse at your company since you treat your relatives so badly. I'm going to take a look at this case, and I'll make sure that my report against you is properly scrutinized. You will probably be demoted or left. Oh no! Executive Director, please don't do that. As Mary was about to ask for help, Tom grabbed her by her shoulders and stopped her. That's enough, Mary. What? If you had told me from the beginning, this wouldn't have happened. Do something about it. Hey! Mary, with a bright red face, attacked Tom. Mary, let's get a divorce. You're always like that. But you're ruining such an important event and causing problems at work as well. More than anything, I can't be with you anymore after you spoke out that way to my mother, who worked so hard to raise us. Tom said that without an emotion. I burst into tears as Tyler held me by the shoulders and Ariana cuddled me close. What the hell? Everyone is protecting this middle-aged woman. There is no way that I am divorced and demoted. Don't be silly. Mary is distraught. The executive director says quietly, You can't stay here any longer. You should leave now. I agree. It's an important place for us, and my aunt is an important person. We don't feel good about having it ruined. Please leave us alone. My niece, who had been watching this, told her in a firm voice. This is ridiculous. This is impossible. Mary was stunned and left the room with the employee. Everyone, I'm sorry about my wife. As Tom bowed, my niece rubbed my arm. And don't worry about it. I love you, and everyone loves you. And besides, that lady will not be your daughter-in-law anymore. Yes, she won't. Don't worry about it, Sally. I respect you. Ariana leaned in close and told me that. Yes, I'll be happy if I can get divorced with her, Tom said to me as well. I'm sorry, Tom. I can't believe you are divorcing because of me. What are you talking about, Mom? I'm really sorry for everything I've done. From now on, I will be more filial to my parents." Tom said so and put his hand on my shoulder. After that, we all regained our composure and we were able to finish the dinner without incident. A few months later, Tom and Mary divorced. Mary made a fuss and went to the family court to seek alimony, but her claim was not successful. According to what the managing director told us, an internal investigation revealed Mary's problematic behavior. She was so proud of her education and work, but I can't believe she was behaving like that at work. In the end, she was transferred to a small branch office in another prefecture. Technically, she was demoted. Then, something unexpected happened. Tom announced that he would take over the restaurant. Originally, I have never forced my children to take over the family business because I wanted them to do the work they loved. But it was true that I felt a little sad about handing over the precious place I have inherited from my husband to someone else. Tom told me with a serious look on his face. That restaurant must have been filled with the love and passion of my father and you, Tom said. I really wanted to take over the restaurant, but I thought I couldn't handle it, so I went to work for a restaurant chain. But when I saw how much you are loved by your employees, I decided I wanted to protect the restaurant that you and Dad have built. Tom, thank you very much. But until then, you have a lot to learn and study. I'll guide you and teach you well, so do your best. Tom came to work for me at the restaurant, and I became busy again as I trained him. 1 year later, on my 63rd birthday, as Tom and I waited in front of our house, Tyler's car arrived.
"Sally, happy birthday!"
Ariana got out of the car and her voice filled with joy. Tyler gently picked up the baby from the car seat in the back seat and nursed him. "Welcome, you two." "No, it's 3 of you." They had a baby, and I finally got to be a grandmother to my lovely grandchildren. It's about time I took over the restaurant business in earnest, and I hope to be able to serve my nephews delicious food for their celebrations. Tom, who has worked hard in his training and will take over the restaurant in earnest this year, also narrowed his eyes. Today, I secretly wish to find someone new for Tom, who has finally become a full-fledged restaurant chef.